guys, Ralph here. Welcome to True Power Trumpet Fitness on this magnificent Monday here in Connecticut. Life's good, guys. Life's good. Great to be back. Anyway, did you have a great weekend? I hope you did. Even if you weren't celebrating anything, you could still have a great weekend, right? We had a wonderful time, an absolutely wonderful time. But as you saw in the thumbnail, real life got in the way. Yeah, interesting. I played a lot today. Let me honk a little bit and I will explain to you what happened to my chops this weekend. Anyway, tangerine juice. Wow. Anyway, so let me tell you what happened. Much like Jerry, I sit here in my own little sterile bubble and say, my chops feel great, I don't have to warm up, blah, 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 blah. Now, unlike Jerry, I played a lot more than Jerry professionally. Jerry did a lot of professional work, but not like I did. I mean, really pounding the streets and doing what you had to do to pay the light bill and all this sort of stuff. The whole bohemian thing. And, the point is, I know back from my experience as a professional trumpet player that this is really not the real world. Okay? Real life got in the way a little bit this weekend. A little different way of doing it, but it got in the way. Now, I think I have told you many times, that I have trouble in the summer. I absolutely love going to the beach and being out in the sun and getting the vitamin D and all. Oh, geez, I just love the summers and running around without a shirt on and all this sort of stuff. Love it. But my lips are very, very sensitive to the sun. And they very often, I take precautions now that they don't get sunburned. I wear visors and all this sort of stuff. But they do, at the very least, get extremely dry, okay, during the summer. Even though I'm drinking gallons of fluids, I'm just outside that much. Literally gallons of fluid, be it water, lemonade, juice, whatever the case may be. But, so anyway, my wife is a tea drinker, and I don't drink that much. All decaf. We don't do drugs. And don't think for a minute caffeine isn't a drug. If you're drinking coffee or tea, green tea, chamomile, not so much, but it's a drug. Case closed. Anyway, different video, different channel. So she asked me if I wanted some tea. Lipton decaf, sure. It gets cold. And when all you're doing is drinking juice and all this sort of stuff, sometimes it gets cold. I like something warm. So I go up. Your tea's ready, sweetie. So I go up, drink my drink. And sure enough, it was scalding. Absolutely scalding. And I burned the bejesus out of my lips and the inside of my mouth. Just really, really slammed it. Okay? Now, this was Friday. Now, I was through with my practice and all this sort of stuff, and I didn't do a video or anything, but I got some practice, and I just left it alone. The next morning, I could feel before I even touched the trumpet, I could feel they were swollen and I could feel they were burnt. No question about it, they were burnt. I would look in the mirror and this little scab, up at the top of them, gave him a real scalding, man. A real scalding. The inside of my mouth, not so bad. But I definitely gave it. And I tell you what, when I went for the first notes of the day, I could barely play a thing. I was lucky to play a low C to a high C. I said, okay, Ralph, if true power works, you've got the tools in the toolbox to bring this back. And I tell you what, it was not easy. It was not easy. I was all set to leave well enough alone and just put it down and come back. But I said, you know what? I can work through this. And after about 45 minutes to an hour of being straight 100% in the happy zone, I was back. It was completely back. Okay? The next day, much the same thing, but not so much. It wasn't as dramatic. This was Sunday, yesterday. This morning was the first time that it really felt normal, that I could have done the first notes of the day and gotten away with it. Just to be sure, I put some honking in, and as you heard, it felt fine. But here's the deal, guys. Again, I'm not out grinding like you guys are till all hours of the morning with good bands, bad bands, loud bands, out of tune bands. I'm not doing that. And I'm the first one to tell you that's something to do with it. But whether you burn your lips from a sunburn, you fall asleep on the beach, whether you scald yourself, whether you're having a fight with your spouse or whatnot, or one of your children are really sick and you're off your game, guys, real life gets in the way. Okay? But you have the tools in the toolbox to get it back. Absolutely. Now, if this was Friday that this took place, so if I did my warm-up, scalded my chops, and just went to the gig that night, Friday, if there was a gig, without warming up or anything like that, I would have been screwed. I would have been screwed. Same thing Saturday morning. First notes of the day, I don't have to warm up. If I just went to a church gig, I would have been toast. I would have been humiliated. I had to warm up for the first time in years. I felt like I really needed. Now, first thing that I kept in my mind, Ralph, you know what it's right, what it's supposed to feel like when it's right. Make sure you're playing correctly. Now, I very easily just could have taken another couple days off and just started today, and it probably would have been fine. Okay? But I wanted to go through this, So, made sure that I was playing correctly and not trying to coerce stuff. Tighten up the corners a little bit to get that high note. I had to make sure, adamant, that I was sticking with our 3 rules. Okay? And after that, spit, buzz, rest, stop, spit, buzz, reset to the max. Stay in the happy zone. It took me about 2-3 minutes for the low C to high C, happy zone. Another 2-3 minutes and I had the low G to high C. So for the most part, after about 10 minutes, I could have played, concert band gig, something like that. Okay? Maynard gig, it took me 45 minutes to an hour to get the double C back. And when it was back, it was fine. And I tried it later in the day. This is Saturday. And it was fine. I could have done a job that night. But again, without that warm-up in the morning, I would have been in trouble. Now, you guys that are out pounding the streets, guys, so many of you said, Ralph, everything feels good and everything, but I just can't pick it up without the warm-up. Guys, real life gets in the way, and don't beat yourself up out of that. As long as you have the tools in the toolbox, that I'm telling you, if you stick with this stuff, you do have the tools in the toolbox to make it right, no matter what happened the day before. I'll never forget when I was in college. It was right before about 2 days before a big concert. orchestral concert. I was playing first. I'm not sure what the piece was. Anyway, I'm brushing my teeth. And I had a very old toothbrush where the bristles are sort of like sticking out different ways. I sliced the top of my lip right inside from brushing my teeth. I didn't do anything wrong. My chops were feeling great. And sure enough, I tried to play on it that day. Was coercing the stuff. Like I said, I made sure not to do the other day. Before you know it, the next day, I was in a bit of trouble. I immediately went down to Jerry. Fixed me up, and I was good to go the next day. The concert went great. Okay? But guys, it does happen. That doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. You might have done something wrong at the gig to get through the date or to show off or whatever. Have your fun. But guys, you have the tools in the toolbox. There is no reason whatsoever for any of you to have a bad day. You can fix it. All right? All right. Eat and drink your fruits and vegetables and live your life with true power. Not the fake stuff, true power. Love you all.